Hi book friends, this is Kat. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be my 2-year Booktube anniversary, and I started Booktube back in November of 2022, and I didn't do a 1-year Booktube anniversary, so I'm gonna try to combine two in a video, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. But I debated whether or not if I wanted to do a Q&A because I know that that's kind of like popular when Booktube anniversaries come up, and because I'm filming this in November and I'm trying to get the video up because the end of November things are gonna start to really ramp up. I decided not to go that way, but hopefully on my third Booktube anniversary, I would love to do a Q&A. I think those are so much fun, especially when you get to know about the booktuber a little bit more. I enjoy watching them, and I kind of like a little chatty videos. So anyway, for this go around, I want to do something that my husband and I actually do on our wedding anniversaries. So on our wedding anniversary, I looked up traditional wedding gifts, and that's kind of the theme we go for when we give each other anniversary gifts. And I just looked on Pinterest, and there's one where it's got a column for traditional wedding gifts, modern wedding gifts, and then the traditional flower that you would have for that wedding anniversary. So it's kind of fun to do things like that. So paper is the first year wedding anniversary gift, and so our first year we had to give each other something with the inspiration of paper, and that was pretty fun. So in this video, I thought that I would go through the anniversary gifts and pair what they are with the book. Like my interpretation of the gifts to the book. And I'm also going to do the anniversary flower, which my husband does gift me the anniversary flower every year as well for our anniversary. So I'm gonna start with year one, so that way I could make up for lost time. And so let's start with that one. So paper is the anniversary gift for year one. And the thing behind the traditional gift is that because you're newlyweds, your marriage and your love is not as strong yet, but it's still like, you know, binding, because, you know, paper is all like connected with whatever they make paper out of. But like it could be very fragile, so do be careful. And then as the years go, the material gets thicker. So paper, I thought any book that had, you know, maybe paper in the title, or had things that are made of paper on the cover, or any things that are made of paper could be in the title. So the first book I'm gonna go with, and I did try to pick at least 4 for each of these. Some of them are not going to be books that I owned, but I particularly liked. So the first one I will talk about is a book I do not own, but I hope to one day, and that is The Story of the Trapp Family of Singers by Maria von Trapp. And this I picked because the word story, though you could tell a story orally, a lot of times we read in books about the story. So this is basically the biography of the Von Trapp family of singers. The story is about a woman who is a nun, but she's not a very good nun, and she ends up being assigned to go be a governess for this man with 7 children, I think. I'm not sure how many, but he has a lot of children, and his wife has passed, And so he needs a governess until he gets married again and they have a mother. And so it just follows Maria and her time with the children. There is romance, and then it kind of goes through World War II because this is the time when that happens. And I just love the book. I thought that it's just very wholesome, and I read it last Christmas, I believe, or maybe it was 2 years ago, but I enjoyed my time with it. The next book I'm going to recommend is I Will Always Write Back, and this is by Caitlin Alafarinka and Martin Gonda with Liz Welch. And this one that has the word write on it, so you would write on a piece of paper, but also the subtitle is How One Letter Changed Two Lives. And letters are definitely made of paper. So this is a nonfiction about a girl named Caitlin, and she gets a writing assignment in school to where she gets to pick a buddy, I guess, that's across the world, and it's like a pen pal thing. And so she picks someone from Zimbabwe, and Martin ends up receiving a letter from her, from his class, and they exchange correspondence through the year. And then it becomes more than just an assignment. They actually do become really good friends through this writing back and forth. And so you follow the times in the United States with all the things that are going on there, and then also all the wars that are going on in Zimbabwe. And it's just a really neat book. I enjoyed my time with it, so I would highly recommend this book. The other book that I would recommend is The Story, and this is by Max Lucado and Randy Frazee. And this is basically the Bible as one continuing story of God and his people. And so basically the Bible is a book, and so it's made of paper, and again, story is in the title. So I enjoyed it too. It's really fascinating to read the Bible as a story, like how connected. And I mean, this is the NIV version, but it's the Bible, but it is written in a way to where it's easier to understand. So I do recommend reading this. I did read it in a month, but it could easily just be broken down. That is my pick for that. The other one I do not own, but this is called The Last Bookshop in London by Madeline Martin. And this one was a really good World War II book. This has the word bookshop in the title, and it's really like a book about books sort of deal, but also set in World War II. You follow this woman who basically works in this bookshop, and it's her trying to keep this bookshop alive during World War II. And it's just a really great time. I enjoyed it, and yeah, I can't recommend it enough. So the anniversary flower for your first year is an orange blossom, which my husband did not give me orange blossoms our first year because they're basically the flower before the orange is created. So really, you couldn't find it. So he gave me orange jam instead, which I'm not a big jam person, but nevertheless was still sweet that he came up with an interpretation for it. But that's besides the point. So my first thought with this prompt was to just find a book with an orange cover. And I looked on my shelves. There's a lot of orange spine books, but I didn't have a true full orange cover book. So I had to make do with what I had. Orange cover books are really hard to find, but I don't know if they're necessarily marketable. I don't know. I have a lot of blue books, so blue books are probably very marketable. I don't know. But first one that I did find was the Screw Tape Letters. And I would argue this is probably more orangey than most of the books that I do own. This is an orangey cover, though it kind of looks like a red-orange on camera. But this is basically C.S. Lewis writing through the eyes of a demon. Screwtape is the uncle that this apprentice demon is writing to. But essentially it is, reading through the demon's eyes on how he would inflict this person. And he's like writing to his uncle, like, I could inflict him this way, and the uncle's giving him advice on how to do it properly. There's a lot of theology in it. I don't know, it was an interesting read, and I did enjoy it because it does kind of open your eyes a little bit to what could be going on in the spiritual realm, but I did enjoy it. The next orangey cover I had is Lion, so that definitely looks a little orangey up here. But Lion is a nonfiction about this man who basically boards a train when he's like 5 years old in India and ends up in an orphanage and eventually gets adopted by a family in Australia. And so he Google searches one day to find his home, and the story kind of ensues from there. And I really enjoyed my time with this book. The next two I have not read yet, but they were on my shelves, and this one's got lots of colors on it, but I think it's predominantly like orangey red down here. But this is Holy Habits, and I just bought this from my birthday haul, and so basically this is about discipleship and creating habits of that, and yeah. And the last one I have is Words in the Dust by Trent Reedy, and that's pretty orangey here. So it's a book set in Afghanistan, and this girl has a cleft lip, and I think she hides it, and these soldiers from America come and bring opportunities, even like medical opportunities for this young girl to even get surgery and other things. I think also they bring in some kind of like education system, I think. So anyway, I haven't read it yet, but I found it at Goodwill, and yeah, I am curious about that. So now we're in year 2, and year 2 is cotton. And cotton, I thought, okay, things that are made from cotton, like clothing or, blankets and stuff. So the first book I'm going to talk about is a book that I do not own, and that is The Paris Dressmaker. And so dress is definitely made from material that could be cotton. And so this one is about 2 women and their lives centered somewhat around this dress. And it is set in World War II. This talks a lot about like French couture and everything, and I really enjoyed my time with this. And so yeah. The next book is actually part of a duology, and I'm going to talk about both of them. But I thought cotton, you would harvest cotton usually. And so I have Harvest of Rubies by Tessa Afshar and Harvest of Gold, which is the second book in this duology. And Harvest is in the title. So this book follows Sarah. She is the prophet Nehemiah's cousin, and it talks about her working in the Persian court. And then you follow this guy named Darius, who is Persian, and there is some romance. The last one I'm going to talk about is A Quilt for Christmas, and this is a Christmas novella by Melody Carlson. And quilt is definitely made from cotton. So anyway, it's a cute little novella about this family who has their mother in the hospital, and it's just a story where how this quilt pretty much brings people together. So All right, so the flower for 2 years is the daisy. And I own none of these books that I'm going to talk about, but they're all in the same series. So I'm just put all 3 pictures up right here. But I'm talking about the Anne of Green Gables series, and daisies were really popular on the cover. So Anne of the Island, Anne's House of Dreams, and Anne of Ingleside. I adored these books, and I really liked when Anne got older and she became like a mother, and how she raised her children. Her and Gilbert's dynamic I just really liked. So I think my favorite of the series is Anne of the Island. I don't have a 4th book for this one, but so this is kind of like an all white cover, which daisies are all white. So I guess I'll recommend this one to make it an even like number. But Love Where You Live, How to Live Sent in the Place You Call Home by Shauna Pilgreen. And I did enjoy this book a lot. This book is essentially a nonfiction just to really take ownership of where you live and to reach out to those that you are around, because God has you in the neighborhood that you're in to reach people to further his kingdom. And it's not just, you know, you got this house for whatever reason, but there is more to it. Just to kind of be involved in the community, to get to know your neighbors. So it's just a really nice read, and, you know, getting to know your community better and be able to extend love to them is always a thing that we should be striving for. So anyway, that was my list of recommendations. That is my video for my Booktube anniversary. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions about any of these books, or just what you would like to see for my 3rd year, I would love to know. But I've enjoyed my time here on Booktube. I looked at my first video not too long ago, and I was very nervous in that first video, but I knew I wanted to be part of the Booktube community. I definitely enjoyed watching Booktube, but I noticed that there at the time was not a lot of Christian booktubers. Some of the booktubers that I did watch, I really did support their channel, and I thought, what better way than just to also be a light here on Booktube. So not everyone's perfect. I know that there are some videos where I just look back and I definitely see how much I've grown, and especially my reading taste. But you know, that's kind of cool to look back and see where you have been and where you are now, and just the friendships that you made. And, you know, I really enjoy just this time here on my channel, and will continue to do videos until I feel that the Lord is calling me in a different direction, in a different season. But I would still love to support those here on Booktube as much as I can. So anyway, yeah, so I am going to go ahead and start to put all my books back on the shelves, but I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and I will talk to you guys in another video. Bye.